How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. Well, you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. What's the best way to watch a fishing tournament? Live stream. Anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN. It had a pullback inside of the market, but I must say the price action that we have received in the past 2 trading days have come with a lot of volatility. We saw last week, Friday, it ended up getting to a high of $6.49. We'll talk about that more inside of the video, and then we have this strong sell-off that went down today. So that's why I'm like, you know what, we need to do an update. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bullish case scenario and as well as in the bearish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.17, being down 1.34%. On the low, it tested $5.04, and then on the high, testing $5.78. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 22.896 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is 17.535 million shares. So with this above average volume, you can see we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. But of course, as far as overall on the day, we're only down like 7 cents from the previous close. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 38. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day, the 200-day, the 100-day, and the 21-day EMA. So OCGN is in a bear market. We've gone over this, but one of the things I want to point out, in the after hours on Friday, we ended up seeing a high of $6.49. So coming into the open today, the selling pressure started in the pre-market and just continued going into the open, where we ended up seeing lows at $5.04. The good thing is we did have some support in this particular area, especially right at 5, so we were able to close at 517. As far as for the high, like I was saying, the selling pressure came in, and this is where it was at the open, being as high as 578. If we would have been able to get past 578, that's where I wanted to look forward to seeing that test right at this $6 level, and then eventually catching the 21-day EMA at around $6.10, and then seeing what could happen. But of course, we had the selling pressure, many people who were taking profits and so forth, and just selling overall in general. So we did lose a lot of momentum. So going into tomorrow, since we did close at 517, I would love to see, for the best case scenario, us making another move, testing that high around $5.78. If we're not able to do that, then of course I'm going to want to see $5 continue to be an area of support for OCGN. And also, if we decide to actually consolidate in this area, that is not too bad either, because due to the fact of the recent developments that came out from last week in regards to insider buying and so forth, they're seeing a move. They're saying, hey, the stock should be going up at some point. That's the only time insiders are going to be buying in, if they feel like the stock is underpriced. So if it wants to consolidate in this $5 level, no problems there. And then as soon as when we get that catalyst or some sort of a big update, we can make that move past 6. So let's see what happens. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for OCGN. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 49.04%. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 2.28 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is 100,000 updated 2 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow free rate, it is at 2.29%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 16th, it was at 49.74. And then for the close of the 17th, which is a Friday that just passed, it is at 49.04. So staying consistent there, but one thing to keep in mind, OCGN does have short squeeze potential. So this is why when you have a catalyst or some sort of a big news update, it brings a lot of volume in, and we can look forward to seeing some strong moves in the stock. And it's part of the reasons why you want to keep a close eye on it if you are holding a position. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we can see here on the inflows at 22.42, and then on the outflow it was at 19.96. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, on the large it was 0.92, on the medium it was 15.89, and then on the small it was 5.61. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 1.09. On the medium, it was 14.03. And then on the small, it was 4.84. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, December the 20th, it being a negative of 0.17 million. But keep in mind, on the Friday, on the 17th, we had an inflow of 10.61 million in regards to large scale orders. And that's why we ended up seeing that strong pop going down inside of the after hours. Now, when we analyze the numbers even further, taking a look at the small scale orders, we had more buying than we had selling, and this tends to represent the retail side. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which we just covered, that's where we had more of the selling than we had buying, but it wasn't a big difference whatsoever. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it is at 11.57%. So for a stock like OCGN, this is very high, and it does give us a good idea and the reasoning why there is a good amount of selling pressure overall on the day. But one thing that is clear, there is still demand. Many buyers are still coming in and they are buying up the dip when OCGN does have those pullbacks. So this is one thing you want to be aware of, and you want to make sure you have the right strategy in place so you can maximize your overall entries if you're interested in this play. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, we do have a short week, so in regards to price action, it's going to continue to be volatile. But one of the areas that I want to see actually hold up is right at that $5 level. If we continue to consolidate in this range between $5 and as well as the mid-5 range, that is not bad whatsoever, because at least we know when we do end up having a catalyst or some news coming through, then we can see the stock move and actually get past that $6 area of resistance. Another thing to bring up, there has been a lot of insider buying of OCGN shares. We're seeing this from Shang and a number of other executives. So what this means, it is very bullish. And I do feel as far as for year 2022, ocugen does have a lot of upside. And this is why I say in a lot of my videos, you want to make sure that you have patience, and plus on top of that, making sure that you're getting in at the right price. You don't need to be overpaying. You already see how this stock moves already. Also, going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So this is why when we get any sort of an update, especially when it's big time news, we end up seeing a spike in the stock. Of course, it does get followed with a big time sell-off, and this is the reason why you want to make sure you have your strategy in place. So if you want to maximize the profits or take some profits, you can do so. But I know many of you want to hold because you do see, hey, I don't mind holding these shares, going through the volatility, and then seeing the stock move up going into the new year. And if you are going to be doing that, then you got to make sure that is good for you mentally. Don't just follow the crowd, because when that stock starts pulling back, I want to make sure you have high conviction. You have confidence inside of your play. This is so essential. And with all of the volatility we have, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing even more pullbacks. We are getting close to the end of the year, and we have noticed that there are many who have been selling for tax loss purposes, and also many traders just taking advantage of the price action that has been going on. So let's see how OCGN performs for the rest of this short week, and I'll continue to keep you guys updated. We'll talk soon.